today. Let's do something small. Do you know that? Okay, not even that one safe. Where did I write that? Okay, do you know that time is like the most precious resources we have and is the least compensated resources? Is that the way I want to put it? No. It's the most uh what language? Like time is like the resources that we have that is most precious, but in everything that everybody pays for is the one that has the least compensation. How many of us have noticed that?
Now that you mention it, facts. That's true.
Who has thought about that? Who has said that?
Yes, now I I have,
Okay.
because I was reading a book on um what's the title of the book itself? Okay, Umbo. You must have read it, yeah. Think like a billionaire and become a billionaire.
Oh, okay. That book.
The Baroncy at the part there they talk about assets of a billionaire's mind, where they talk about time as one of the most important um what do you call it? One of the most important tool. So there they emphasize on time is time sounds to be so insignificant to the common man, right? But it is the most important tool that everyone needs. So as much as it is almost non-compensated, like people really do not even compensate your time for whatsoever you think you might have used it to do, even we ourselves to a large extent. If we are not so careful, we might find our time so negligible that we can use it for whatsoever we like. So
Yeah.
it is really not valued, but realistically, it is the most important thing, an aspect of life.
Right. In fact, it's this is one of the reasons this is one of the reasons I like people to read book. And I'm saying that because when that thing popped up in my mind, I cannot even remember linking it to any book in particular. So this is what I say about books. Your books are like the software on your system. When you read them, they just go somewhere. Or at least let me say for myself, when I read, it just goes into my system, just somewhere there, right? Until there is a problem, there is a situation, there is something that requires that thing to jump up and attend to that situation. So many of us don't know how angry we can get until somebody do something silly. You can see somebody so happy all day long, doing everything fine, smooth, and enjoying himself or herself until somebody do something silly. And the person go mad. And you're like, where has this been? Yeah, that anger has been inside for a very long time. It's just that there's nothing to trigger it. So also is when you read books, it's like installing some software, and until they are needed, sometimes they don't just come up, right? So I get the that perspective. In fact, that even goes some way deeper, that area you mentioned. Because when we look at time, that's the only thing that is equal and the same for everybody. And it's the only thing that makes the difference between how great you become or how great you become eventually. And it's the most difficult to actually calculate, especially when it comes to productivity, when it comes to profitability, when it comes to value. When we talk about time, job passes by. And when that thought came up in my mind, this is the scenario. In this country, for instance, everybody is paid for the work done over a period of a month. And your calculation is not specifically per hour, right?
Yeah.
But in some places, like in the US, in the UK, you are paid per hour. And because of that, those people, they are more conscious of time than those of us here. That's one. Secondly, for those of us who work for people, maybe contracts, any arrangement, any of such, we know that we don't charge based on the time we spend doing the work. So as a result of that, somebody can spend the whole day doing something irrelevant and it will not look as though you have done something wrong. You see any serious person, and I mean all these people that have made big name, they are very careful where they spend their time and how they spend it. In fact, with whom they spend it. So where we spend our time, how we spend it, and with whom we spend it is actually very important. And this morning, that little group, somebody posted something there. Let me go and look for it and read it. It's just part of. Okay. The person you will be in 5 years depends on the video you watch, the books you read, the food you eat, the money you invest, the people you spend time with, the habits you adopt, the sacrifices you make. The interesting part is every of these things that this person mentioned is still going to be done in time. It will be done in time. So, when you do things in time, it's usually very difficult to quantify. So, your time is when anybody is employing you, is giving you a job, most of the time they don't consider your time. So, because of that, I want to say that you can be with somebody, spending the whole of your time, and you think, yeah, I was there for him, I was there for her, I was there for daddy, I was there for mommy, whatever it is. But one sad truth there is, if you like, spend the whole of your life with somebody, if they cannot derive any serious value from it, that time is wasted. I'm simply saying if you spend 2 hours of your time cons- no, advising, not even advising, because if you're advising, you're already having some value. So at this point, it might just be okay if it's relevant or not relevant. But if you have, let's say somebody just lost money, let's say somebody wants to do a project, let's say somebody wants to do something serious, and you spend a whole lot of time, and all you are doing there is, why is this happening? This should not be happening. I wish we could do this. I wish we could do that. That person, even though that person is spending 2 hours of his or her life with you, that time will not be as valuable as somebody who just call me within 5 minutes and give you money to solve your problem. If you think I'm correct or wrong, just let me know. What do you think?
Please come again. Come again.
Very, very correct. You are very correct.
If somebody has a problem, let's say as you are now, when your system has problem, right?
Okay.
And you have some design on ground to do and stuff like that. Somebody is there with you and say, why would DMS sell such system? Why would DMS do this? But he knows you are his guy. You are this and that. And he talks for hours. And you are parabolating, you are talking, you are angry. Two of you are just discussing, and then everybody is there. And let's say the person spent 2 3 hours with you doing that thing. And somebody just came in, let's say within 5 minutes, and just like, deficit, why you like this? And you just say, oh, my system has problem. That's why I'm unable to do this. I bet say, what kind of system do you need? Yeah, come and take this HP, come and take this MacBook, or the person just send money. Oh yeah, take this and get another system, and the person leaves. Everything that person has done is within 5 minutes. Which of them is more valuable?
The one that preferred solution to the problem.
And that's the way it is in real life. People will come and they'll be like, we are here for you, we want to do this with you. But if the time anybody is spending with you is not pushing you forward, it's not getting you better, it's not driving you closer to your dream, your aspirations, to your intentions, to your desires, it can as well be regarded as a wasted time. When you talk of time, many times you can tell us how much it costs you to get your system, how much it costs you to learn a particular course, how much it costs you, how much time it costs you to develop a particular skill. But do you know that many times when we charge for our services and sometimes even our products, we usually don't consider the time it took to get to that point, and even many times we don't consider the time it will take us to get that job done. When we say we are counting our costs and our profits, most of the time what we do is the materials you have to buy, the data, maybe the package you have, I mean, the software you have to pay for to get that job done and everything. So when you do that and you subtract it from what that person is paying you or how much you are billing that person, you just from there determine if you're in profit or not. Whereas if you're going to do your estimates properly, your time should be included, and it's the most difficult one to actually estimate, because how do I place a value on my 1 hour of developing, of doing a brand logo for you, how do I put a value on 1 hour of talking to you, helping you find direction, helping you know the next thing you're supposed to do in life? How do I place value on how much time I spend with you to make sure you become all that you need to become? It's usually a very difficult thing to do, if not the most difficult. And it's like that because nobody or most people have not actually come to that point where time is of essence. Most of us have seen time as, in fact, time don't occur to us as time. And I'm saying this in the sense that when you understand time to be a measurement of a resources that is limited, you will understand how much of value it is. And when I say that, I'm saying it in this sense that your time, your existence on this planet is very limited, and the only way you measure it is time. So until you see time as a measure of your own life, you cannot properly estimate it. And that mistake is the reason why I will charge you how much, uh, with the reason I will charge in my quote or bill, why I will tell people we will buy casing for 20,000 naira, do geophysical survey for 30,000 naira, then your pump for 10,000 naira, your cable for 2,000 naira, and then I add maybe 2,000 or 30,000 to it, and I say that's my profit for the work I'm coming to do. Because if I know that every time that goes by, that's my life going by, my orientation and my charge for that, for whatever it is I'm doing for you, comes on a different level. When I first read that book, Think Like a Billionaire, Become a Billionaire, or something like that.
Yes.
When I first read that book, I think it was maybe 2020, 2021. I think I just came from NYC. Something around that area. When I read the book, I was like, because as at the time, the man that wrote the book had not become a billionaire then. But now, at that point, he had a network of people who are already in that realm. And he started making some serious money, some millions, hundreds of millions. And he began to learn some of those secrets. And it's like, beyond everything and every skill you seem to have, those skills, irrespective of who you are doing it with, is still applied in time. Sure, you know, as a graphic design or UI UX developer, whatever, you know that there's no amount of dexterity that you have in that field that will still not require you time to execute. If you, let's say you have developed for the past 20 years, let's say you have been doing graphic design for the past 20 years, for instance, and you have known it so much that it's almost as though before you place your hand on the system like this, you have finished what you are designing. Even at that point of saying you want to design for somebody, do you know that that is still applied in time? So when you build for whatever you build for, when you want to estimate your life, the most important part of it is usually the most important, is usually the part that we overlook, which is that time. So irrespective of how much skill I have with borehole drilling, that skill will still be applied in time. Because if there's no time, then it will not be applied or it will not be applicable. So when I thought of time, this is how it came to my mind. That time is the most expensive resource, yet less compensated for. Men don't pay you for your time. They pay you for the value you deliver, they derive in it. So if you take a course, for instance, and you pay, let's say you pay £20 or $20 for a particular course. If by the first 10 minutes the course does not start making sense, you start feeling like you have wasted money. Am I right? For those who have taken online courses.
Yeah, you're right.
If you pay people to come and do something for you that does not require your attention, you know that you can go do whatever you are doing and you leave them to be doing whatever they are doing. Why? Is because you have paid them, it does not require your time to be there. So what you are mainly focused on is the value they are going to deliver. So if you are able to deliver a complete house rebranding, a complete business branding, whatever it is, if you can deliver it in 2 minutes and you charge £1,000,000 and somebody takes 2 years to deliver it and he pays and he bills £2,000,000, which of you do you think will be more valuable at the end of the day? The person who did it in 2 minutes. I don't want to know what that person that is taking 2 years want to deliver. And the reason it's like that is because for the person who delivered it in 2 minutes, within a short period of time, whoever gave you that job will be seeing the value they paid for in real time. Secondly, if there's any correction to make, they can do it and still get their result in real time. And your delivery not only save you time that you are delivering it, it also save the person you are delivering it to some precious time. When you work in some places and every time you are being paid per time. Based on time. Almost anybody can predict how rich you can ever be in your life. And they will be accurate. If you work in Shell, you work with any oil company, in fact, any company at all, you've been paid salary, we can estimate that if you work in that same company for 20 years and everything goes as it's supposed to go, we can estimate how rich you can be in your life. And plus or minus will be correct. But when you are paid per value that you deliver, it becomes even more difficult for somebody to estimate how rich you can be in your life. And that's what makes the difference. And without value, the time you spend is a waste. And I'm saying that to drive a particular point home. That in anything we do, as we go on from here to do whatever it is we have to do, whatever it is we need to do, as we go on to do them, consider the time involved in your value delivery. Of course, people you work with, you cannot charge them and say, to stay with you for 2 hours, you pay me this. Because most of them, except where you are employed, in fact, even where you are employed, you cannot tell them to pay you per hour, especially in this country, Nigeria. Most of them will pay you salary. And from your salary, all the value you ever have to deliver has to be in that time. In fact, some people will ask for extra. But what I'm saying is, as you deliver value to people, when you charge them, as you put into consideration how much it has cost you to develop over the years, consider how much it's going to take you to deliver it at this point in time. But most importantly, make sure your billing is based on value. So when you bill based on value, you charge based on value, you are more likely going to be profitable than when you charge based on how long it's going to take you. And that will drive the second point home, that in whatever you do, you have to get as good as you can ever get, such that maximum value can be delivered in the shortest time possible. You can paint a whole house. Let's say it will take you 2 weeks to finish painting the whole house. But when you charge them, you just charge them based on how many people are going to be coming with you. Or do you charge them also for how beautiful the environment will look? Those are the subtle part of these things that we don't see many times. If I charge you for drilling borehole, I don't charge you for the hole I want to come and drill in your house. I'm charging you for the convenience you are going to experience for having water in your house. I'm charging you for the value added to your property. You want to say something?
No. Continue.
All right. I'm charging you for the value it will add to your property. I charge you for a web development, for a data analysis. I'm not just charging you for having Power BI to use or whatever it is. I'm not just charging you for saving you time. I'm also charging you for the value you're going to derive from those insights I'm giving you. I'm saying in essence that when you consider your time, because it's so subtle, many times it becomes difficult for you to charge for your time, especially in particular fields. It becomes difficult for you to charge for your time. What you then do is to charge for the value you render. And that is saying that you must understand the value of your business, of your skill, not just in the level of its presentation. Not just in the level of its presentation, it must also be the level of what that person stands to gain. For somebody looking for, or somebody you are doing brand awareness, you are doing branding for, the first set of value I think you create is the fact that you give them a compelling outlook. That's number one. But the second thing is, which may not even be clear to you if you are not looking at it that way, is you are their first advert. or you are the first advertisement content that they have. So irrespective of the English they write, if what you design is not compelling and they send it out, their return will not be as good as when what you design is compelling. In a nutshell, I'm saying as much as you consider your time, as much as every other person you're working with want you to consider your time or want to know how long it's going to take you to deliver, make sure your own main focus is on the value you want to deliver. If the job is supposed to take 2 years to deliver, but you know the value is an eternal one, like it's going to last forever, charge in such a way that you don't have to look back tomorrow and say, if I had known, I would have charged better. And Bovi was giving an instance when he was coming up, he was coming on stage then, just becoming popular. There's a bank that want him to do an advert for them, and it was getting close to around December or so. When they spoke with him, stuff like that, we are going to put him on billboards in almost everywhere in Nigeria, and it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be good. He was thinking, oh, this would be good if I do this because this will put me in the face of everybody in the country. So that means he gains more popularity and stuff like that. But guess how much he was going to agree for them? 200,000 naira. Of course, that was some time ago. I think he said 2012 or so. He was going to collect 200,000 naira for it. And he almost he done. In fact, he has agreed already. It was one of his friends. I think he said Basket Mouth or somebody who used to have a manager. It was that person. Okay, so the person was on the phone with him. I was like, okay, what are you doing? Also, oh, he was telling the person to help him print something. And the person was like, what do you want to use this for? As I just mentioned it. Oh, I wanted to do it for so people. And when I asked, like, for how much are you taking this? He said 200K. Now, you know why he himself considered 200K to be okay is because that video, that content and everything is supposed to take about 2 minutes or so, nothing more than that. So when you look at it, it's a very small thing. The guy said 200K is okay. But when the person on the other end of the phone asked him, how much are you taking for this? He said 200K. Then he said no. Now why will you do that? That they will push you everywhere in the country and you are going to be this, you are going to lose this, you are going to lose that, stuff like that. He called them back and the person was like, no, you can't do that. I mean, he called the bank back and said, sorry, I won't be able to do this. It's just because of so my team will not agree this and that. Eventually, they went back and forth, and the bank came back. And according to him, I think he said they eventually paid about maybe 200% more. What is the difference? Somebody was able to see the value in what he wants to deliver rather than how long it was going to take him to deliver it. And this is to tell us to say when you do your business, when you do your delivery, whatever it is, look beyond the time it's going to take you. Because nobody really give a damn about your time. We are not in the US, we are not in the UK, so nobody really cares. Look into the value that you're delivering. And then charge accordingly. And I think with that, you can do a business that you yourself will be happy with. And everybody will be happy at the end of the day. So my tech talk this morning is your time is the most expensive resource that you can have. In fact, why is it the most expensive? Because it's one of those things that when it's gone, it's never recovered. You can never be 20 years old two times. But you can be rich, lose money, and then become rich again. Do you understand? You can you can have a relationship that eats a rock, and then you come back and renegotiate, and you come back to terms, and you are fine again. You can have a car, lose the car, and then buy a better car. But when time is gone, yeah, when time is gone, there is no bank where it is stored in the future that you are going to catch it up. In real sense, if not the only thing, then it's one of the rarest thing you can ever come across. Time, once it's gone, there's no makeup for it. I mean, later time, some things can happen faster, some things can happen as though you use magic, but really the time that's gone, it's never recovered. And that's why. So you can't be 15 years two times. But as expensive as it is as irrecoverable as it is, you know that nobody really care about it. Nobody give a damn about it. But everybody, black or white, brown or yellow, anywhere at all, they consider the value you have to offer. Anytime, any day. Anytime, any day. And that value is why we are important. It's not because of the time we spend. That value is the reason we are important. Have you noticed that even in your family, for your pops and your moms, your brothers and sisters, as much as they like you, as much as they want you to be alive, as much as they want you to be great, if they cannot see your use to them, the way they handle you is different. Of course, they are your brothers, they are your relatives, they don't want you to die, they want you to remain alive, they want you to be great, they want you to be fine. But in all of that, when they cannot pinpoint one or two things why your staying alive is very important to them, the way they handle you is different. They cannot ask you for money because they know you don't have. They cannot tell you to help them do something because they know you are not available to do it. They just look at you, they try in every area where you can make their life easier, and there's almost no area they can point to. The way they treat you will be different. Not because they are trying to be biased, not because they are not good people, but it's just the way this life runs. It runs on value. It doesn't run on time. But your own value, your own value accumulation, your own relevance of existence runs on time. So there are always subtle ways into these things. People look at you and they say, Oh, is David there? Tell him to do it, he will do it. That is value. Either they tell you or not, either you know it or not, that is value. That's why they are running to you. Do it for us, do it for us, do it for us. Both those that will pay and those that will not pay, they are running to you because they know that this is the person that can do it. This is the value this person carries. On the other hand, even if you are there and they know that the sink or too much, it doesn't have to do anything in particular. They just let you be. Your value accumulation and development runs on time. But your relationship, your value to other people does not run on time. It runs on value. Your existence, your relevance, your importance to other people does not run on time. It runs on value. But your value accumulation and value development runs on time. So there's a time for you to develop certain skills. There's a time for you to approach certain people. There's a time for you to take certain steps. Once you start to miss that, then you begin to have problems. Imagine if today as it is the time that Microsoft is just trying to float Microsoft's business. The probability that it will sell will be very difficult because most people, just the way other technologies have grown today, would have been grown. Maybe Microsoft would have been another name. So to now say you want to do Microsoft today would be something different, something troublesome. I'm saying that to say because your own value accumulation runs on time, it means every place you get to at any point in time is not a coincidence. All you have to do is to know what value you can accumulate at that point in time. So when Microsoft came on the scene, as much as possible, they bought everything they could buy. Gain monopoly of the tech space, so that apart from Linux and Apple, every other person must use Windows on their system. Apart from Apple, on phones, every other person must use Android. The other person that is supposed to dominate the market was BlackBerry, but somehow, some way, BlackBerry failed. I'm just telling us how this thing work in time. The other person that wanted to do something like that was Huawei. Huawei developed Harmony OS and stuff like that. I know they are still working today, but they faced a major challenge. Many people are against them. That their story will be for another day. I'm telling you, your own value accumulation is time based, while your importance and relevance to other people, to society, even to God, is value based. People cannot derive value from relating with you, from hanging out with you, from staying with you, from going with you. Yeah, you're useless to them, irrelevant. But if people spend just 1 minute with you and they have an experience they cannot forget, even if they don't reach out to you every day, they won't forget you for the rest of their life, and every opportunity they have to stay with you, they will always come back to do so. I just want us to see I just want us to see those two things, time and value, how they work together hand in hand, and how it relates to each and every one of us from the things we do. And I think that will be it for today. Thank you so much for coming. Any question, contribution, addition?